The stage was set for a storybook ending. Ariana Grande, the former Nickelodeon princess turned pop titan, was riding a wave of success, seemingly settling into domestic bliss with her husband, Dalton Gomez. She had landed the role of a lifetime Glinda in the film adaptation of Wicked, a role that demanded her full creative and emotional focus. But Hollywood, as we know, loves a tragedy more than a triumph. What began as a dream project in the UK quickly devolved into the latest, most explosive scandal of Grande's career, one that revived every past accusation and painted her with a devastating new label: the Hollywood homewrecker. This is the story of how a single casting decision on the set of a blockbuster movie unraveled a marriage, destroyed a family, and brought the singer's long-running history of problematic relationships screaming back into the spotlight. The breaking news in the summer of 2023 was a masterclass in celebrity shock. While Grande was quietly separating from Gomez, reports emerged that she was involved with her Wicked co-star, Ethan Slater, who plays Boke. The key detail, the one that turned a celebrity romance into a national scandal, was that Slater was married to his high school sweetheart, Lily J, and they had welcomed a baby just months prior. The public reaction was immediate and venomous. This was not a story of two consenting adults falling in love. It was framed as a betrayal. The condemnation reached a fever pitch when Lily J herself broke her silence. A source close to J publicly stated that she felt her family was collateral damage, and most damningly, she called Grande not a girl's girl. This single phrase became the defining commentary on the entire affair. It summed up the public's perception of Grande not just as a serial dater, but as someone who habitually disregarded the boundaries and feelings of other women, and someone whose pursuit of romance left broken homes in its wake. This single incident, the Wicked affair, did more than just fuel gossip. It acted as the gravity center, pulling in every dark star from Grande's past. The narrative solidified. This was not an isolated mistake, but the predictable peak of a troubling pattern. The past accusations of her being the other woman, her perceived entitlement, and her calculated public image all collided in this one catastrophic moment. The question on everyone's mind was, how did she get away with it again? Tonight we dive deep behind the lights to explore the anatomy of a scandal. We're counting down the top 5 disasters that have defined Ariana Grande's career, analyzing the recurring themes of betrayal, entitlement, and manipulation that have dogged her for over a decade. And we start, not with a confirmed truth, but with the persistent whispers that laid the groundwork for the ultimate downfall. Top 1. The Wicked homewrecker saga, Ethan Slater, Lily J, and the collateral damage of her latest affair. This is it, the single, most damaging, and most recent scandal of Ariana Grande's career. The Wicked homewrecker saga did not just generate bad press, it activated every negative narrative that had been building for a decade. The other woman pattern, the lack of empathy for her female peers, and the perception of a calculated, ruthless ambition. Unlike the donut licking, this incident involves real, verifiable human casualties, securing its rank as the definitive #1 disaster. The story broke in July 2023. Ariana Grande, then married to Dalton Gomez, was starring in the London-based production of Wicked as Glinda. Her co-star Ethan Slater, who plays Buck, was married to his high school sweetheart, Dr. Lily J, and had a baby son who was only months old. The news that Grande and Slater had begun a romantic relationship, allegedly while both were still married, sent shockwaves across the globe. The immediate fallout was brutal. Ethan Slater filed for divorce from Lily J, and Grande's separation from Gomez was confirmed. While both camps initially attempted to manage the timeline, sources close to J painted a devastating picture. The new family had moved to London to support Slater's career, and J herself had endured health complications, including pre-eclampsia during the birth of their child. Navigating the vulnerable postpartum period in a foreign country, she was in essence isolated in supporting her husband, only to allegedly be betrayed by him and one of the most famous women in the world. The single most defining quote of the entire controversy came from Lily J, who broke her silence to the press. She referred to Grande as not a girl's girl and referred to her family as collateral damage. This quote was not just tabloid fodder. It was a character assessment that instantly resonated with the years of simmering public resentment. It connected the current affair to the old Jai Brooks accusations, the co-star betrayal of the Victorious feud, and the overall narrative that Grande operates without moral boundaries when pursuing her wants. The accusation of being a home wrecker was not just a title, it was the tragic consequence of the behavior. The public reaction was not just shock but genuine sadness for Dr. J, a clinical psychologist specializing in perinatal mental health, whose professional life, built on privacy and trust, was violently thrust into the global spotlight. Her subsequent essay, months later, quietly detailed the darker days when she could not escape the promotion of the movie associated with the saddest days of my life, proving the depth of the personal, non-celebrity pain involved. The response from Ariana Grande, though veiled, further solidified the public's perception of her calculated nature. Her 2024 album, Eternal Sunshine, was largely interpreted as a musical defense of her actions. While Grande insisted the timeline was distorted and that she and Slater were relieved that Jay had not thrown them under the bus, her own lyrics were interpreted as defensive and minimizing. The single Yes and was a direct challenge to her critics, with lines that essentially told the public to stop scrutinizing her body and her love life. But it was tracks like True Story, where she sings, "I'll play the villain if you need me to," that struck the public as the most telling. It suggested an awareness of the damage and a willingness to embrace the bad witch persona, but without offering the genuine accountability or contrition many felt was owed to the victims of the situation. The song "The Boy Is Mine" further complicated matters, with lyrics that were interpreted as a brazen claim over the man who had just left his family. In this incident, all the historical threads of scandal braided together. The Problem of the Other Woman, Part 5, reached its most public and heartbreaking conclusion. The calculated move to control her own narrative, Part 4, was evident in the carefully curated album response. And the charge of entitlement and disregard for others, Part 3, was proven by the devastating consequences faced by an innocent, non-celebrity family. The Wicked Homewrecker saga is our #1 scandal because it provided concrete and recent evidence that the worst accusations about Ariana Grande's character, that she is ruthlessly ambitious, emotionally indifferent to collateral damage, and operates with a profound sense of entitlement, were not just rumors, but patterns of behavior with life-altering, negative consequences for those around her. The price of her Glinda role was not just her own marriage, but the demolition of someone else's, forever cementing the name Ariana Grande with the cost of celebrity ambition. We have navigated the turbulent history of Ariana Grande, moving beyond the polished pop exterior to expose the patterns of controversy that have defined her career. From the Donut Gate public shaming to the alleged professional backstabbing during the victorious years, and the bizarre, persistent whispers of the Illuminati conspiracy, each disaster chipped away at her image, creating a portrait of an artist whose talent is matched only by her capacity for controversy. The key takeaway from this countdown is the concept of escalation and confirmation. The early, unverified accusations of being the other woman in Part 5 set the expectation. The confirmed public rudeness of Donut Gate in Part 3 proved her entitlement. The perceived professional betrayal in Part 4 showed her calculation. And finally, the Ethan Slater affair, our #1 scandal, acted as the catastrophic confirmation, a real-life heartbreaking event that validated every prior suspicion and fear about her character. The celebrity journey is often messy, but for Ariana Grande, the cost of fame has been uniquely high for those in her orbit. She is an artist who, time and again, seems to prioritize her immediate desires and professional ascent over the emotional well-being and stability of others. Whether they are co-stars, former partners, or the spouses of her new love interests, the narrative surrounding her is no longer about her vocal range. It is about the emotional wreckage left in her wake. The genius of her music is often overshadowed by the ruthlessness of her life choices. The question remains, can a star truly find eternal sunshine when the shadows of past scandals continue to darken the lives of others? Only time, and perhaps the next blockbuster controversy, will tell. If you want more deep-dive investigations into the psychology behind Hollywood's biggest meltdowns and how fame breaks down moral boundaries, make sure to like this video, subscribe to Behind the Lights, and hit that notification bell. Let us know in the comments. Do you think Ariana Grande is truly a home wrecker? Or is the media unfairly targeting her? We'll see you in the next analysis. 2OP2. Selling her soul? The Illumination Conspiracy. when stage symbolism became a cult accusation. While the Donut Gate and co-star feud scandals were grounded in verifiable actions, bad behavior, and public statements, our number 2 scandal is far more insidious. It is a shadowy accusation born entirely of music video symbolism, online paranoia, and the public's deep-seated fascination with what happens behind the closed doors of Hollywood power. This is the persistent, unsettling rumor that Ariana Grande, like many pop contemporaries, has sold her soul to the devil and is an active supporter of the Illuminati. This type of conspiracy theory, archived by our channel as the Faustian bargain trope, is common. But in Grande's case, it gained an unusual level of traction due to 2 factors: her sudden, rapid shift from the innocent Nickelodeon image to a hypersexualized adult persona, and the distinct, often occult-tinged imagery used in her biggest career-defining work. The core of the accusation centers on the interpretation of symbols that frequently appear in her music videos and promotional material. Theorists point relentlessly to the consistent use of one-eye symbolism poses, where Grande covers one eye, often with her hand, her hair, or in makeup. This is widely interpreted in conspiracy circles as the Eye of Horus, or the all-seeing eye, a supposed hallmark of Illuminati membership, signifying control and allegiance to the secret order that supposedly runs the entertainment industry. Beyond the eyes, the narrative was further fueled by specific visual and lyrical choices that move far beyond standard pop aesthetics. First, the God is a Woman video was a lightning rod for controversy. In the video, Grande is seen seated on a throne, covered in body paint, surrounded by wolves, and eventually drowning her critics in a pool of liquid. Most notably, she appears in a scene recreating Michelangelo's The Creation of Adam, but with her as the celestial figure, challenging established religious imagery and, to some critics, deliberately courting controversy with sacrilegious themes. Second, the song Side to Side features a lyric that, when taken out of context, feeds directly into the conspiracy. The line "I've been on it all night, deal with the devil, yeah," was instantly seized upon as a clear, literal confession of a spiritual bargain made for fame. While Grande and her collaborators would undoubtedly argue this is just a common, hyperbolic pop culture phrase, the online narrative saw it as undeniable proof. The transition from Kat Valentine, the sweet, quirky girl on Nickelodeon, to the global superstar singing about being God and dealing with the devil was too fast and too complete for many. The conspiratorial mind sees this drastic shift not as artistic evolution, but as the sudden, powerful result of an unholy contract. The narrative suggests that the price of her almost instant, unprecedented success, the powerhouse voice, the world tours, the cultural domination, was nothing less than her soul. This scandal is highly significant, even though it is entirely baseless, because it speaks to the deep-seated public mistrust of manufactured celebrity. It links Grande to a far darker, more powerful echelon of elite stars, placing her in the same category as artists who have also faced these bizarre, demonic accusations. It allows critics to dismiss her success, not as talent, but as the product of an invisible, malevolent power structure. The lack of foundation in reality is irrelevant. The scandal's power lies in its ability to permanently stain the public's perception of her artistic integrity and her moral center. While Ariana Grande may laugh off the endless stream of Illuminati jokes, the persistence of the narrative reveals a genuine, public anxiety about her rise. It implies that the polite, polished veneer of the pop princess hides a far more calculated and, for some, genuinely frightening dedication to power. And it perfectly sets the stage for our number 1 scandal, which brought all the elements of betrayal, ruthlessness, and calculated ambition into one explosive, real-life event. Top 3. Thank you. Next, the dark side. Allegations of throwing co-stars under the bus and the victorious feud. By the mid-2010 seconds, Ariana Grande had perfected the art of the career pivot. She successfully transitioned from Nickelodeon to pop stardom. However, this ascent was consistently plagued by the ghost of her past, particularly the highly publicized feud with her victorious co-star, Victoria Justice. This scandal is less about a single dramatic event and more about the perceived malicious manipulation of the media narrative, a charge that she deliberately threw a professional rival under the bus to ensure her own path to stardom was clear. The genesis of the drama begins with the abrupt cancellation of the hit show Victorious in 2013. Shortly after the announcement, Grande was quick to land a spin-off, Sam and Cat, cementing her continuing relationship with the network, while Justice's career trajectory seemed to slow. This divergence immediately sparked rumors of deep-seated jealousy and on-set conflict. The situation exploded when Grande made a series of public comments that, whether intentional or not, positioned Justice as the reason for the show's demise. In one widely reported incident, Grande gave an interview in which she stated, in veiled terms, that the show ended because one girl didn't want to do it and instead chose to pursue a solo music career and tour. At the time, Victoria Justice was indeed focused on her solo music, and the fan base instantly connected the dots. The narrative was simple and damning. Victoria Justice was selfish, choosing her own ambition over the collective success of the show and the jobs of her co-stars. The backlash against Justice was swift and severe, fueled by Grande's rapidly expanding and fiercely loyal fan base. Justice, who was the lead star of the show, was suddenly portrayed as the villain, the ungrateful colleague. Years later, Justice herself would speak about the lasting damage, admitting that she received death threats over the feud and the persistent rumor that she was the one who caused the cancellation. What makes this a significant scandal for Grande is the accusation of weaponizing her platform and her influence. Critics argued that even if Justice was the one who chose not to return, Grande's public comments lacked professional decency, effectively sacrificing her co-star's reputation for her own benefit. It gave rise to the label that Grande was not only a not a girl's girl in her romantic life, as we saw in the Ethan Slater case, but also in her professional one a colleague willing to use the media to destroy another woman's career trajectory. The channel's archives contain evidence of this perceived professional ruthlessness, coded as the calculated exclusion. It's a pattern we observe where Grande remains extremely close, with some co-stars, notably Liz Gillies and Matt Bennett, who frequently appear in her work and social life, while others, primarily Victoria Justice and Jeanette McCurdy from Sam and Cat, are notably and pointedly excluded from reunions and public narratives. This selective alliance reinforces the idea that she is capable of using her inner circle to either elevate or exclude, depending on the need. Even the monumental success of the 2018 hit, Thank You, Next, could not escape the shadow of this drama. While the song was universally praised for its maturity in thanking her ex-boyfriends, critics noted that this same spirit of gratitude and maturity was conspicuously absent when it came to her female professional relationships that ended poorly. The song listed 4 male exes, but it made no attempt to publicly reconcile or even acknowledge the years of public bitterness and harm caused to her former female co-star, which many fans felt was a calculated omission. Despite Justice later publicly downplaying the severity of the feud, claiming much of it was manufactured by the media, the fact remains that Grande's initial comments provided the kindling for the fire. This scandal is a perfect storm of perceived professional betrayal and calculated public victimhood, solidifying the idea that when it comes to her career, Ariana Grande is willing to ensure her success comes at the expense of others. It's a darker stain than Donutgate because it involves a deliberate, verbal action aimed at another person, securing its position as our number 3 scandal. Top 4. The I Hate America, Donut Fiasco, Ungrateful Public Behavior, and the PR Catastrophe of 2015. The problematic pattern of the other woman accusations was slow burn, based largely on rumor and context. The next scandal, however, was explosive, caught entirely on tape, and perfectly encapsulated the public's growing fear that the good girl pop star was, in fact, an entitled, ungrateful diva. This was the infamous Donutgate of 2015, a public relations disaster that almost cost Ariana Grande her career and famously cost her an invitation to the White House. The incident occurred in July 2015 at Wolfie Donuts in Lake Elsinore, California. Grande and her then-boyfriend, backup dancer Ricky Alvarez, entered the shop. Surveillance video, later leaked by TMZ, captured a sequence of events that shocked and disgusted the nation. First, the unhygienic act. Grande was seen leaning over the counter and, in a childish and defiant gesture, appeared to maliciously lick several unprotected donuts sitting on the display tray. She did not purchase the defiled items, leaving them to potentially be sold to unsuspecting customers. The cashier later told the Associated Press that the singer was really rude. Second, the unpatriotic commentary. The video also captured Grande's verbal reaction, when an employee brought out a fresh tray of donuts. Grande looked at the treats and exclaimed, "What the fuck is that? I hate Americans. I hate America." The combination was toxic. A celebrity engaging in unsanitary behavior toward food intended for the public, coupled with an inflammatory anti-American statement. The response was not just backlash, it was genuine outrage. Police and health officials were called in to investigate the food tampering, leading to the donut shop itself having its health rating temporarily downgraded. Fox News and other outlets seized on the "I hate America" comment, turning a juvenile prank into a national character assassination that questioned the patriotism of one of the country's biggest young stars. The ensuing public relations response became a case study in how not to apologize. Grande initially issued a written statement attempting to explain her anti-American outburst by linking it to her frustration over the country's high child obesity rate and the ease with which Americans consume poison without, "I thought." She wrote, "I sometimes get upset by how freely we as Americans eat and consume things without giving any thought to the consequences." This explanation, however, only poured gasoline on the fire. Critics and the public found the excuse highly offensive and illogical. As one critic at the time asked, "How does licking a donut you won't buy in order to contaminate it for others serve as a protest against the food industry?" The commentary shifted from "she is rude" to "she is self-absorbed and condescending." She was criticized for shifting the blame from her own poor hygiene and ungrateful comments onto a spurious political agenda that seemed entirely out of context. Grande was forced to issue a second, more contrite video apology, dubbed "Sorry Babes," where she finally abandoned the bizarre health activism defense and admitted she was disgusted with myself and had missed the opportunity to sincerely apologize earlier. Later, in an on-air interview on Good Morning America, she admitted, "My behavior was very offensive. There's no excuse or there's nothing to justify it. The consequences of Donutgate were real and immediate." She was forced to pull out of the MLB All-Star concert, initially citing emergency oral surgery, though the public believed this was a direct result of the scandal. More seriously, a 2016 WikiLeaks email release later confirmed that the incident had effectively vetoed her from performing at a White House event due to concerns about her character and behavior. The Donutgate incident cemented a new public image for Ariana Grande, the pampered, entitled diva who, behind the scenes, looked down on her fans and her country. It stripped away the last vestiges of her wholesome Nickelodeon persona and replaced it with a reputation for public rudeness and a deep-seated sense of ungratefulness. It was a disaster of behavior that, unlike the dating scandals, was captured in stark, undeniable high definition, providing the concrete evidence that fueled the next layer of scandal and cynicism. Top 5. The problematic co-star pattern. The unverified but persistent accusations. Before the headline screamed Ethan Slater, and before the word wicked became synonymous with home wrecking, there was a steady, low hum of speculation surrounding Ariana Grande's dating habits. This is the scandal that has never been a single, verifiable disaster, but rather a persistent, troubling pattern. The accusation that Grande often found herself romantically entangled with men who were already in committed relationships. This pattern, often forgotten or dismissed by mainstream media, is crucial because it established the public perception that made the Ethan Slater scandal so believable. It gave ammunition to those who claimed Grande had a disregard for relationship boundaries, paving the way for Lily J's devastating "not a girl's girl" accusation years later. The earliest and most prominent example dates back to the very beginning of her transition from children's star to pop idol. The relationship surrounding Australian YouTuber and musician Jai Brooks. Their relationship was tumultuous, but the drama that concerns us here is the narrative that emerged surrounding her next relationship with singer Nathan Sykes. In 2013, Brooks publicly accused Grande of cheating on him with Sykes, detailing the alleged infidelity in a scathing and very public Twitter tirade. He claimed he was blindsided and that the infidelity occurred while he was dealing with personal issues. Grande, via her manager and eventually herself, vehemently denied the accusations, countering that Brooks was attention-seeking and that the relationship had ended legitimately before she began seeing Sykes. Now, whether Brooks's accusations were factually accurate or the bitter lashings of a spurned ex is difficult to confirm. However, the damage was done. For many fans and critics, the mud stuck. This incident, regardless of its truth, planted the first seed of doubt about Grande's fidelity and created the initial blueprint for the other woman narrative. This narrative was further complicated by the persistent, though often unsubstantiated, rumors surrounding other high-profile relationships. Fans and celebrity observers frequently referenced a similar situation years later concerning rapper Big Sean. Although their relationship was short-lived and seemingly ended amicably, rumors were rampant that he had left actress Naya Rivera, to whom he was engaged, shortly before or during the time he began dating Grande. While again, there was no direct, conclusive proof of Grande interfering in that engagement, the persistent whisper, the suggestion of her involvement in breaking up an established couple, continued to fuel the growing public perception. This is where the channel's archive data offers crucial context. In analyzing these early controversies, we see a recurring theme that we've archived as the co-star-collaborator conundrum. Grande's relationship timeline is littered with co-stars, collaborators, or people she worked closely with professionally. Nathan Sykes, music collaboration. Big Sean, music collaboration. Pete Davidson, public sphere involvement. And ultimately, Ethan Slater, co-star. The scandal of the problematic pattern isn't about proving a specific instance of infidelity, but about understanding the cumulative effect of these repeated accusations. They created a celebrity profile where the next, most explosive scandal, Ethan Slater, was not a shock, but confirmation of a deeply held, negative suspicion about her character. By the time Wicked arrived, the public was already primed to believe the worst. This sustained, problematic dating history is the foundation upon which the more high-profile disasters of the later years were built, which is why it lands at our number 5 spot.